to make sure people with disabilities have the same opportunities and positive experiences through play. With nearly 2 decades of experience working with pioneers, engineers, and of course, the people who benefit most. So, thank you very much to everyone who has been contributing so far, even if it is just by being here. Right, we're a little bit behind, so let's not waste another second. We are going to be bringing Leah playing Donkey Kong Country Returns. Take it away, my friend. Donkey Kong Country Returns. Take it away, my friend.
Hello. Yeah, let's not waste any more time, just get this thing started right now. So yeah, just gonna start the timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. Yes, we had audio issues, mostly caused by me, so whoops. So I'm gonna make up for that by hopefully getting like well under estimate, surely. Anyway. Yeah, this is a remake of pretty much the best platformer on the Wii. At least best 2D platformer. It was released very early this year, so this is a very recent remake. Yeah, it's kind of like the easiest way to get into the game, kind of. Although there is also a pretty decent community running the Wii game still, and also on Wii emulator. But yeah, and this was also on the 3DS, and not many people play it on the 3DS, which makes me sad because it's fun. The 3DS version is cool, but yeah, by and large the versions are mostly similar, like they have the same content for the most part, but the physics are not quite the same between each version, and also like the load times and stuff. Speaking of load times, I'm playing this on a Switch 1 instead of a Switch 2, and the Switch 1 has very, very slow load times for this game, which you'll see shortly. So yeah, again, I don't have a Switch 2, so RIP. But yeah, it takes quite a while for things to load, but that does mean I have more time to yap and talk about stuff. And I should explain what the modern mode in this category name is. So, in the 3DS and Switch versions of DKCR, there is an easy mode present, which in 3DS is called New Mode, and on Switch it's called Modern Mode. And this basically gives you an extra heart for each Kong, and it also gives you access to a few items later on that aren't accessible in original mode, or the original Wii game. Those aren't going to come into play for a little while, but yeah. On the whole, original mode is very similar in terms of speed, but it's quite a bit harder to play well. There are a few extra damage boosts you can do with the extra hearts and stuff. As for the levels we're actually playing right now, 1-2 is considered one of the hardest early game levels. Definitely, what am I doing? Definitely quite hard for the second level in the run. Especially when you like start running the game, like this trips up beginners a lot. In all of those climbing sections I was holding up diagonally on the D-pad, so kind of up left, up right at a 45-degree angle, because for some reason it makes you climb more quickly. We have no idea why, it's been a thing since the Wii game. And as far as running on HD goes, you do kind of need to use the D-pad for that. But thankfully you can have both the D-pad and the joystick active at the same time. So you can just kind of shift down from the joystick to the D-pad. Once you're rolling in this game, like there's a lot you can do like without even touching the directions. Like if you start a roll, all you need to do is just keep pressing the roll button, and you don't even need to keep holding the direction, and you'll keep rolling. Which is quite nice. Lets you kind of shift your fingers over your thumb. Your fingers if you use claw grip like a weirdo. I don't judge. For the most part, the early game is quite simple. It's mostly like in the late game that this game really picks up in difficulty. Like, this game does have quite a noticeable difficulty spike around the halfway point. Whenever I'm in these cannons, I'm pretty much always holding in the direction I'm shooting, because that does actually influence your position a little bit. Which will become relevant shortly for some skips we need to do. And just on the whole, it saves like a couple frames, like a frame or two, on pretty much every cannon shot. That skip we just did there is only possible if you hold right. Which is not really intuitive. Like, you're not really told you can do that, but it is a thing. World 1 is nearly done, but before that we do have the longest level in World 1 by a mile, which is an auto-scroller, unfortunately. However, that doesn't mean it's completely auto-scroller, like you can just zone out. For one, the beginning section is actually one of the biggest places you can trip up in World 1, is this beginning section right here. Yeah, that usually happens. There is a small window on pretty much every platform where you can get a ledge hop, which basically can serve to clip you up from underneath onto platforms more easily. In the original Wii game, that window for ledge hops is quite big, but for some reason it's massively shrunken down in 3D and in HD, so it's actually a lot harder to do that beginning section well in HD. And I would say I mess it up like half the time, honestly, which is a bit silly. It loses like 2 or 3 seconds to do that. Yeah, I jumped over the puzzle piece. That does absolutely nothing. It just looks cool. So as far as like minecart sections go, we are actually doing stuff to speed ourselves up. We are jumping up upward slopes, and we are riding downward slopes most of the time. Keyword most, because sometimes if they're too steep they will actually slow us down rather than speeding us up. And there is one more overly steep downward slope coming up towards the end here. Right here, want to jump off early, unless you want the G, of course. Which, yeah, we don't need Kong ladders in this category, or really any collectibles. The only thing we're trying to pick up as we go is banana coins, but even then, like another thing about playing in modern mode as opposed to original mode is that the coin requirements for this category are super lenient. Like, we are not going to be worrying at all about having enough coins for what we need to get. But yes, the other thing about running on a Switch 1 is the game lags quite a bit, because this game was built for the Switch 2, but they released it on the Switch 1 for some reason. Although some of the lag is on my OBS's end, but some of it is actually the game. This is one of only 2 bosses in this game that doesn't have any RNG involved, and there is a strat I would like to hit here. Okay, cool, I actually hit it this time. I failed at like 2 marathon runs in a row. That basically stops him on the left side there, Prevents him from running all the way across and losing us a couple seconds. Never mind, I've just kind of undid that time save because he's now running all the way across here. I usually damage boost for that, but I forgot to. So this is a very slow Ward 1, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is a very poor quality Ward 1 here, for my standards. Let's see, we're hitting like a 939 here. Yeah, 939 on a Tiki Punch. I usually like to get 925. So very, very slow for my standards, but most of the game really depends on the later half. Like the later worlds. As far as the first half goes though, World 2 is considered the hardest early game world. And there are 3 levels in particular in World 2 that can trip you up, and the 2-1 is one of them. So 2-1's probably notable for being one of the hardest shiny gold medals to get casually in the time attack mode. But there are also like 1 or 2 things that can trip you up, even if you get like good at the game and stuff. This skip right here is way easier in HE than it is on Wii. You have a much larger window to get the bounce there and make it onto that platform without having to wait, which is quite nice. And this ending section is kind of the main difficulty here. If I hit the strat, I'll save like 4 seconds. I did not hit it. You can kind of get a fast cycle in this whole section without having to wait right there like I did. But I mean, it's not too much slower to not hit it. I'm probably like 50-50 on hitting that. Tutu's kind of split up into 2 sections. There is this really simple beginning section, and then the main difficulty to level is the tower section in the second half. Also, thing to note is that you can't move during those banana swirl transitions, which is weird because you can on Wii and in 3D, but for some reason you can't in HD. It's really silly that they introduced that, and honestly it's probably a bug more than anything. Like, on the whole, kind of the view of this game is that it was a really rushed remake, which is a bit of a shame. As I said earlier, it's kind of like it was made for the Switch 2, but released on the Switch 1 for some reason, because they just really wanted to get it out quickly. As a matter of fact, the Switch 2 was revealed officially like the day after this game came out. Like, this is kind of like an end of life cycle game for the Switch 1. So now we actually have a true auto-scroller, where there is basically nothing I can do to speed this up. And this is like, there's like another minute 40 of this, pretty much. Yeah, these rocket levels, there is absolutely no way to speed them up, just kind of gotta let them do their thing. The only thing you have to do in this level really is pick up these 3 coins here. But even then, like, because the coin requirements are really not strict in modern mode, like, that's kind of only a thing you have to worry about in original mode or on the Wii version. But yeah, there is like another 50 seconds of just absolutely nothing going on here. Which is... I mean, like... sometimes it takes a while to even get a run here, if you're like particularly picky with the early game like I am. Like, the boss of World 1 and 2-1 are kind of like the main roadblocks in getting a run here, usually. Although there's much worse later on. It's hardly the worst of it. This game's quite hard. The main thing you get to appreciate in this level is how the water looks in HD compared to the original Wii and 3D versions. Like, that's kind of the main place they improve the visuals. You can really see it in this world, in a bunch of different levels. Two-4 is a really simple level. Definitely the easiest one in World 2, aside from 2-3. This is a really short level, only about 40 seconds long. There are one or two things that can trip me up though, mostly relating to Cannonball RNG, because it is RNG based, but only like, it doesn't matter a huge amount, it only really matters in this ending section here, where most of the time I will have to jump out of the way of one of these cannonballs, like that, or just take the hit. So 2-5 is considered another one of the more difficult early game levels, generally. And one of the more memorable levels, one of the more memorable levels casually as well. Yeah, you really get a good look at the water in this one. 2025. This will be water in 2025. This will be water in 2010. Good drop. There we go, good 2-5. Probably the cleanest level so far. And 2-7 is considered like the last of the early game killers in World 2. A theme you'll get to know with this game is that a lot of things are one-hit kills, including, probably unsurprisingly, those waves. So this level is very much cycle-based, like the waves operate pretty much all the time, including in this cave section coming up where they are invisible for a bit. And there's really just one cycle, but I've got a lot of room to make it. Just trying to get behind this one stone right here in time, and I made that with plenty of time to spare. And then as long as I'm quick getting back up after that. It's pretty simple. This gets complicated if you don't have Diddy with you, which tends to be the case in original mode after 2.5. You do tend to lose him in 2.5 if you're not careful. So I mentioned briefly that most of the bosses in this game have RNG. This one does technically have RNG, but it's extremely minor. Like, this has the least significant RNG in a full game run by quite a lot. Oh, whoops. Ah. And it doesn't even really come into play until the very last attack. Oh dear, what am I doing? Okay. I have to be careful there, because you can't actually roll into the stack when you've got invincibility frames up. Okay, so this is where the RNG actually comes into play, and it's probably not going to matter too much. Pretty much just want them to spawn as far left as possible, and then from there... What are they doing? They raise their arms so early there, okay. Yeah, so from there they have a chance to raise their arms really early. I've never seen them do it that early, actually. Don't know what they're on there. But yeah. I mean, sometimes they do that, sometimes they have to walk into the wall first, but overall it only amounts to like a second or two. It really doesn't matter that much. And that is quite a slow roll to exit again. Like, this is not really what I'd be looking for, ideally. But again, like, the later half of the run matters more. Now, Ward 3 is the second shortest ward in the run. We only play 5 levels here. Sometimes that can be iffy, like sometimes you won't clip onto that platform after jumping up the line, and we don't really know why. It's kind of silly. Rolls equals a second, pretty much. But it's an extremely small thing. On the whole. Now 3-2 is the longest normal level in the run. And the game, actually. And by normal, I mean not a boss, basically. The level's kind of got it all. This section's important, don't want to miss any of these bounces, or you lose like 5 seconds and it sucks. And if you're in original mode, if you miss one of those bounces, you also lose out on coins, so really don't want to do that. Hitboxes are weird, that would not happen on Wii, but hitboxes are just really big in HD for some reason. That's another thing they changed. The same is true for 3D, but like, yeah. A lot of the oddities they introduced in 3D, like accounting for the worst hardware presumably, they did not fix back when they ported it to HD, because HD is very much based on the 3DS version. So, it's kind of weird. Feels kind of clunky at points. You don't die if you miss one of these shots, but you do lose a lot of time, so make sure not to do that. So speaking of coins, we are actually finally going to go to the shop and spend some of them. So pretty much every time you go to the shop in this room, we're going to be buying a map key, and that basically unlocks a faster path for us. In this case, it's actually especially potent because it cuts the level count down by 1, and it also replaces 2 long levels, like a minute 10-ish, with like a 45-second level. So it saves a bunch of time. This one in particular. Now there is a rather silly way that I have died at the beginning of this level in the past 2 marathon runs I've done, and I'm not going to do it again, right? Cool, that's all you had to do. Good job, Leah. Anyway. Yeah, this is a really short level, but it can trip you up in a surprising amount of ways. But as long as you have your wits about you, it's not the worst thing ever. It's a lot harder on Wii, this level. In HD it's really consistent. I had to take a hit there no matter what. I intentionally stalled a little bit, because the wheel was already activated, but the shark was not. So basically by activating the shark late, I can prevent it from jumping into us, as we did the last jump. If you've played the original trilogy, which I am too young to have done myself, but you will be familiar with Animal Buddies. Unfortunately, they got kind of gutted in the retro games, which confusingly are the newer 2 games, Returns on Tropical Freeze, made by Retro Studios, which is confusing. But yeah, they kind of gutted the Animal Buddies in these games. The only one you can play as is Rambi, and he's only in like a handful of levels. And he's kind of clunky to play with. Each charge you start up with him loses 4 frames instead of the usual 2. And this is the only level we actually use him in this run specifically. He's playable in 1-3 as well, but we don't need him there. He's very slow. The only time you ever need them in every level that you play them in is if you're going for all puzzles, which is a cool category. Also, you can run across these gaps, which looks kind of weird. Doesn't look like it should be possible, but it is. It's free 8 frames of time save. Okay, so now we have, I'd say, our first major RNG boss. This is like, probably has the 3rd most significant RNG in the run. So you need to hit this boss 6 times. After you hit him 3 times, he will go into a second phase, where he's a bit harder to hit. Yeah, there are like a million ways this can go. Let's just see what we get. So we want to get 3 bombs here, ideally. Like that. So now he will chuck a missile into the ground to destroy that stony layer at the bottom. There's like a 90% chance he goes to the right here, but he could go to the left. But be prepared for both. So we really want to get like... Perfect. That's exactly what you want. Get 3 bombs there. Pretty much insta-kill. Nice. I haven't had that in a little while, actually. I don't know what the chances are. But yeah, I mean, typical is like you get only 2 bombs in one of the phases. That's generally what happens. And then you kind of have to work it out from there. But anyway, moving on to World 4, this is actually the shortest world in the run, and in the game in general, but especially in this category. We only play 4 levels here. And kind of the gimmick of World 4 is that every normal level is an auto-scroller. Although, this is the most involved of them for sure, for one. Like, this is the most interesting level in World 4. At least at the normal levels. So kind of to differentiate this from 1.6, the first minecart level we played, this is a standing minecart level. So instead of just sitting in the minecart the whole time, we are actually jumping between different minecarts and regular platforming sections, which is way more interesting, and it's a shame that there are as many normal minecart levels as there are standing ones. But either way. Like, these are easily the best auto-scrollers in the game. There's not too much left though, just wait just like a couple frames before holding right there. If you input frame perfectly, you can actually jump into this cannon immediately. It saves a bit over a second, but it's very risky to do. If you miss it, you just die. And that also means returning to the checkpoint with no Diddy, so don't want to do that. This is another standing minecart level. This one is less interesting than 4.1. This is the last level before we get to the shop again, which on Wii or in original mode would mean we're making sure we have enough coins here. There are a few emergency backups we can do in this level if we don't have enough. Aside from that, there are a few like minor skips in this level, but nothing really too interesting. Like a minor skip like right here, skip climbing up there, and that's pretty much it. honestly. You can, like, influence your position in these levels in standing minecarts, but we don't really know how to manipulate it properly. We know it does affect the position, like an extremely tiny amount, but yeah, we don't understand the full, like, effects of it. That jump does nothing, it just looks really cool. There is a skip you can do here to bounce across those tikis and get straight to this minecart. It doesn't save a whole lot and it's kind of risky, so yeah. Kind of an IL strat, although some people do go for it in runs. But yeah, it doesn't save a whole lot. So again, we're buying the keypad. 4-2 and 4-4 this level. We come out to just be a little bit faster than 4-3 and 4-5 on the bottom path. And also they're way easier than 4-3 and 4-5. Like 4-3 and 4-5 are like a minute 45, a minute 50. And 4-2 and 4-4 are like a minute 30 each. So like, yeah. Ends up just being slightly faster even with the detours go to the shop. Oh yeah, you can kill these guys. You get a public for doing it here. This level has really got nothing going on, honestly. There aren't even any coins you can pick up here. So anything you can do to goof around within reason, like without risking dying, because you pretty much don't touch anything, because everything's a one-hit kill. But like anything you can do to make it more interesting is kind of worth it. Apparently that was a gold. I will need to check that later. I think I split late on 4-2, so it's probably not real. Anyway, this is one of the most interesting bosses in the game, for sure. There is an intended skip here, which there's usually a lot of waiting you have to do to get to each phase, but the game just lets you jump straight to the train each time, and it is fully intended. You are required to do it for like the gold medal and time attack mode. So that was kind of slow, so I might miss a cycle here. And when I say cycle, I mean each phase here kind of operates on like, and yeah, I did miss a cycle. Each phase can only like start at like 2-second-ish intervals, and I kind of missed that one. This one's kind of pushing it. Very lucky with the cart positions though. The last cart that's left standing will dictate how far away the train is. I think I got that cycle. So if the last cart standing is all the way to the right, then the train will be really close. No, wait. If it's all the way to the right, the train will be quite far away. If it's all the way to the left, it will be really close. And if the last card standing is any of the three on the left, so the two left ones or the middle, then you can get across without Diddy, with just a big jump with DK. Anyway, last phase here. The first two cards to shake are your safe spots, or alternatively you can camp out in the spots you know he's gonna hang around in, try and get a sneaky fast hit, like that. And you also need to hit him 4 times instead of 3. That was a pretty good max phase, actually. Max being that guy. Alright. Generally you want a 39 leaving World 4. So 39-38 split time is pretty good. My best is a 1x, but yeah, 0.3 is fine. So now we get into the second half of the run. Technically not really, like the second half of the run technically happens like towards the end of this world, but as far as like world count goes, this is the kind of the halfway point. And it's kind of conventional to mark the difficulty spike here, because the game gets a lot harder from here. I would go as far as saying World 5 could be considered the second hardest world in the game. Although the first level here is not too bad usually. It's more the later ones where the difficulty comes out. Also, this is one of my favourite levels casually. A lot of levels in this game are really pretty. I think this is one of them. Mostly the beginning section transitioning out of the cave into the forest. This section can cause some problems if it decides to, but it did not. That is nice. Waiting around the middle of that section was fine as well, because all these vines are already activated. I have to wait for them anyway. And just don't try and go too fast in that section, and you're pretty much good. Wait a sec. Really simple level. That is a level you really want to use the default control scheme for, by the way, because the alternate control scheme adds a run button that is also mapped to the grab button, so you can't hover past those vines at full speed with the alternate controls. Now if you're like me and you do prefer the alternate control scheme, which puts the roll buttons on the shoulder buttons, so roll and pound on the shoulder buttons instead of X and Y, you can just remap it in the Switch settings instead, which is really nice. That is a wonderful feature that I kind of forgot existed until someone pointed it out to me. And it's made everything so much better in this game. Anyway, 5-2 is kind of considered the first of the 3 Gauntlet Award 5 levels. This is not so much a level you're going to die in most of the time, but this is just a really difficult level to optimize. And it's also really cool. Like, this is one of the best levels in this game of speedrunning. Hopefully I'll get to show it off. Kind of a rocky first half there. I have a visual cue in the background with a rope there. I know when to jump off. Provided I don't do anything silly here, this is the big jump. Whee! Well, that wasn't really a big jump, but it's still safe in time. There's an ending strat here I'm gonna go for, and I'm probably gonna miss. But it'd be cool if I hit it. Oh, nice, I hit it. Cool. That is very risky, and it's not something you should really go for unless you are feeling confident. I'm kind of the only one who goes for that in runs at the moment. It is harder in HD than it is on Wii. You have like an extra frame or so of window to make that on Wii because of the bigger LED shot window compared to HD. I'm the only one who goes for that in HD, but there are people who go for that on Wii as well. And it doesn't even save much. It saves like maybe a second over the next strat. The 3. Mostly this section. Okay, that was kind of scuffed, but it worked. Lol. That section is quite messy because, basically, the reason why I did those kind of funky spider bounces around the checkpoint is because I needed to land quite far along on this platform that was moving against me, basically. Yeah, that's pretty much it. With a few extra stairs, that lets you kind of like fast cycle the platforms in that section and save a couple seconds. And also this last checkpoint section is kind of scary, but I kind of glossed over all of it because there's honestly not much speed tech going on there. But anyway, that's pretty much 5-3, and that was a clean 5-3. So I'm happy with that. 5-3 is probably one of the levels you're most likely to die in if you have a death in a run. Like, I've died in 5-3 way too many times over the years. And the final level of the Gauntlet Award 5 is 5-4. Now this is considered the hardest one of the 3 usually, particularly the last part of the level. Notably, if you die in this level, you don't get Diddy back until the end of the level, so you really don't want to die here, because Diddy helps so much. Like, Diddy lets you infinite roll pretty much. Like with DK you can only roll for about half a second at a time, you have to kind of chain it with jumps, but Diddy lets you infinite roll, and that is really helpful, as well as of course letting you hover to kind of save yourself. So it's mostly from the last checkpoint here onwards that it gets really difficult. Need to get that bounce. Perfect. That was ideal. Your speed pounding the last gong doesn't really matter that much, as long as you just... because you're kind of pace locked by the tokens falling anyway. So cool, that was a clean gauntlet. 5-2 was a little rocky at the beginning, but like otherwise that was clean. Now 5-5. This is, for the most part, a very chill level. Like, this is much easier than the past couple ones. There is one strat towards the ending here that I would like to try and hit, but I probably will miss it. But it would look really cool if I hit it. But yeah, for the most part, this is just a really chill cannon level. This is one of the easiest ways to feel good at this game, is to just learn this level. Because it is literally just cannon shots, but it looks cool when you do it. Those two can be buffered, but not this last one. Right, gonna try this. Aw, so close. I should explain, I was trying to go over that cannon there because I could kind of go out of bounds in that section. I was either like a frame too early on the bounce, like I could have delayed it an extra frame to get some more height, or I just didn't kind of land on the spider in the right position to get it. Either way, yeah. You can go kind of out of bounds in that section and save like 4 seconds if you kind of like take a faster route to the ending. It looks really cool if you hit it. And I almost got to show it off, so you know what? It's fine in my books. This is probably one of the most memorable levels casually. I would say arachnophobia warning, because this level has a lot of spiders in it, but we tend to outrun them, so like it probably doesn't matter that much. Like they're barely on screen in the speedrun. But still, this level has spiders. And they one-hit kill you. But yeah, this level's surprisingly easy in a speedrun despite being really difficult casually. Like, this is one of the easiest levels in War 5. That happens if you jump too early. I did not spot that I jumped too early into the bounce tire. And that's pretty much it. There's a cheeky ending section here, which we can do a little strat in if we get it. Oh, I did get it, and I didn't react to getting it. I got that 3 marathon runs in a row. If you grab frame perfectly, kind of like right before you hit the peak of your bounce, you can get like a weird hopper boost with Diddy. And that basically lets you skip a cannon now, which saves just short of a second. I got it, and then I did not react to getting it, so whoops. But anyway, 5B is the only other boss after 1B that does not have any RNG, and this boss is quite difficult. It's considered the hardest boss by far in execution, so I'm going to try and lock in, especially for the first phase. So the first phase is by far the most important and the most difficult. Nice. Really good, really. Pretty much perfect. Nice. 51-16 War 5 exit. I should mention this is 8 seconds behind world record at the moment. I'm not gonna lie, the beginning of this run kind of sucked. But perfect RNG in 3B and then playing a pretty good World 5 overall, it's kind of brought us back. Granted, my best X is about 22 seconds faster than that, but like, you know, this could technically world record if I get my act together for the rest of this run. I shouldn't say that because now I'm going to choke 6-1, aren't I? Anyway, World 6. It's about the same difficulty as World 5, maybe the tiniest bit easier. It's kind of hard to say. It's really up for debate which of like the last 4 worlds is the most difficult. This level really depends on you having Diddy after 5B. Like if you lose Diddy in 5B, this level becomes a lot harder. At least at the beginning. This damage boost takes a very tiny amount of time. That makes the ending a bit riskier, so it's debatable whether it's worth it. Oh. Okay. That has not happened in quite a while. If ever. That must be the first it's literally ever happened before this marathon. But I mean, that's not a devastating mistake or anything. It's like 2 seconds. Not having Diddy won't be a problem. We get him back, like, pretty much immediately. So this is the last sitting minecart level in the game. Or, not in the game, but in the run. Yeah, it is in the game, actually. Like, the last one... The only one we don't play in this run is 4-3, and that's in World 4, obviously. So yeah, last sitting minecart level in the game and the run. And, yeah, there's not much going on here. That stuff in the background is not chocolate, even though it looks like it. I kind of wanted to eat it when I was younger. It is molten tar, so do not eat it, or you will die. On Wii, this is one of the only few levels that we've actually managed to tie the TAS in. Like, as far as we're concerned, the world record for this level in time attack mode on Wii is perfect. 4 people have gotten the perfect time. I am not one of them, actually. I'm sitting 1 frame behind, which I've gotten a couple times, but it is extremely difficult. Even though this is like, I mean, an auto-scroller, obviously, there is just so much that goes on in the minecart section. Probably hear my neighbor's dog right now because I forgot to close my window. Absolutely incredible. He's very excited. Anyway. So yeah, we still don't have Diddy with us after we lost him at the end of 6-1, but that's not really a problem because we get him back, like, right here, pretty much, at the very beginning of 6-3. Now, 6-3 is one of the best levels in this game for speedrunning. This is such a good level. Like, everyone loves this level, pretty much. There's so many intended skips here. Like, there are a bunch of puzzles you're supposed to do casually, but, like, you can skip pretty much all of them. With just clever platforming. This is, like, universally loved, pretty much. On Wii, you get a lot more speed from this platform. You can jump up, like, way earlier, but on Switch, you kind of have to wait. You don't get enough speed from it. Tilt that platform a little bit, skip another puzzle. There is also like with like the little Diddy rocket thing I did at the end of 5-8, there you can skip you can save a couple seconds, I can't talk. You can save a couple seconds by doing like the Diddy rocket boost thing in that section. However, I do not go for it in runs because I don't hit it very often. There we go. Formulated a sentence correctly. I probably could go for it in runs though, like it's not super risky or anything. It kind of is, actually. You lose a good bit of time if you miss it. Yeah, this is like probably the tastiest world in the game. This gets me thinking of like those transparent colored N64 and N64 controllers. I have one sitting like 3 feet away from me right now. Like, you kind of want to eat them, but you know you shouldn't. That's kind of what this world is like. I really like this level. This level's also really cool. I kind of hold this level close because this was... Because on Wii, I was the first person to get under a minute in this level. In HD as well, I was also the first person to get sub-minute here in time attack mode, but I mostly care about that I did it on Wii. And yeah, it's just it's a pretty chill level, honestly. Like, there are a lot of damage boosts we do here. This ending section's probably the scariest part. Not do anything stupid here. Yep. That thing is a one-hit kill, probably not surprisingly. And generally I look to get like a 58 split time for 6-4, so I just did that, that's cool. 58-39. So we kind of unavoidably lose Diddy there. So we do have to do the beginning of 6-6 without Diddy, which is a little scary. In the other categories, you do 6-5 on the key path right before 6-6, and you do finish that level with Diddy, so that wouldn't be a problem. But in any percent, we do have to do it for no Diddy. If you grab into the ceiling, you kind of like stick into it. It's kind of weird, but yeah, don't question it. We don't know why it works either. This actually can be really cheap sometimes. Cool, it wasn't that time. This level's very much divided into sections, like... Yeah, no, I don't know how else to describe it. The last third of this level's kind of auto-scrollery, but not quite entirely. That guy's a one-hit kill, by the way. Just thought I should put that out there. But yeah, we kind of have to wait for him to do stuff. Oh dear. Oh, I rolled too early. Bonked. I do think, like, as soon as you get down to the bottom of this section, he does catch up to you automatically. So you do kind of have to go quickly there. And we just gotta wait just a little bit more. And now we're free from him. It's just straight dash to the end. And using that grab thing a little more there to stick into the ceiling and also glide down that last wall without bonking off it, which is really nice. Like, the grab button's kind of the most broken button in this game. There's so much you can do with it. But you're not supposed to. Oh yeah, game fakes you out here, makes you think this is the last level of World 6. Nope. You've got the level after 6-6. Which I've learnt to not say the numbers in this level from like the past like 3 marathon runs I've done at this game. I finally learned my lesson. Anyway, the level before 6-8 has like... There are a few cheap ways you can die here if you're not careful, but if you are careful it's pretty fine. Oh whoops, I did not want to get a high bounce there. That's fine. That's barely anything. And then this first background section you need to be kind of careful. Particularly with these platforms. It's not super clear when they become tangible, and if you're not careful you can just fall right through them. Which is extremely painful. Please do not do that. I would know. And this ending section, I'm going to intentionally delay a tiny bit there. Don't jump too late for that cannon, I do that quite often. Intentionally delay because we got to wait for that vine just the tiniest bit. If we're too fast, we won't be able to grab it. And that vine is activated like as soon as you grab the last checkpoint. But otherwise that was a clean 6-7. No, I said it, no! It's so over. I've not learned anything. Okay, we're not brain rotted in this chat, right? Right? I can get away with saying that. Anyway. So 6-8 has got a lot of global cycles. So we're kind of pace locked in this level, so we don't have to go super fast here. Like, obviously go fast, but don't like try and go way too fast or you'll probably end up dying. Like, up until now we've been waiting for this platform to swing over, and then we're waiting on like another platform that we're going to see in like 10 seconds. Oh, that was close. You can fast cycle that barrel, but it's kind of risky, so we just don't go for it in runs. And from here we're pretty much free to go. There we go. Easy. It's easy to have like a cheap death there, honestly, but if you're careful, it doesn't pose a huge threat. Alright. 6B is, as far as length of time attack world record is concerned, this is the longest level in the game. In practice, it tends to not be the longest, like one of the next two bosses tends to be longer, but in theory, with perfect luck, this is the longest level in the game. And I need to be careful here. Just turn my TV down a bit, you'll see why shortly. But yeah, this boss has moderate RNG, it's not a huge deal really. The first phase here has no RNG, but the second and third phases do. But yeah, this boss is just a huge waiting game pretty much. It's not much you can do to speed it up, unfortunately. The main thing is like being far long enough, like... Oh, turn your volume down like 5 seconds. You've been warned. Okay, you can turn it back up now. I was too busy blabbering on there, I forgot to give the volume warning. Yeah, for some reason the transitions between phases are extremely loud in HD. They kind of messed it up in 3D and they did not fix it for some reason in HD, which makes no sense, honestly. But anyway. It's kind of about being, like... Because if you hit him, like, too close to the center of the arena, he'll just waste time, like, walking to the far side. You gotta be close enough to the far side when you hit him. But, like, that doesn't happen pretty much. But not all the way over. Also, get ready on voluming in like 5 seconds, he's gonna scream again. You've been warned. That's the last time, by the way. You can have the volume up for the rest of the run now. Just this level gets stupid loud for some reason. I have to turn my TV down as well. Turn it back up now. I didn't actually mention the RNG, but this is the other RNG point. Or, well, the RNG point, really. Not lucky, unfortunately. So he can do either a short, medium, or long walk there. He wanted to do a short walk, as you might guess. We got a long and a medium, so that's not good. That is a pretty big time loss, actually. Probably like 8 seconds to short, bad guess. I need to learn the exact numbers. Okay. We still got a low 107 there, which is quite nice. That was a 107.17 split time. My best is 107.02. So actually pretty good here. As far as this run goes. I'm just checking, yes I am local recording in case something incredible happens. In case a miracle happens, I am indeed local recording. But anyway, I shouldn't jinx myself. Now, World 7 is considered the hardest world by most accounts. It's one of the longest worlds, and it is definitely the most difficult. Every level here can kind of pose a threat one way or another. This is the only level in any percent that is completely in silhouette, which is really pretty. Nice, I got that skip. I don't usually get that. Jumping over that guy to avoid damage. Like, the level everyone knows with the silhouette aesthetic is Sunset Shore in World 1, but we don't play that in any percent. So this is like the next best thing. But yeah, Sunset Shore was like on everyone's desktop background back in 2011. Nice, okay. We're kind of cooking. We messed up with the first checkpoint, but kind of cooking now. And there is a bit of storytelling going on here, so we've just gotten rid of all the fog in World 7. Well, I just spoiled it. Whoops. In 7.1, but as soon as we get back to the map, we'll see that's also cleared out all the fog in World 7, so we can actually see what we're doing. Don't worry, that was not your Discord, that was my Discord. I should have been in streamer mode. Anyway. Seven two. The beginning of this level's a bit harder if you happen to lose Diddy in 7-1, so I'm kind of careful to not lose him there. It's very easy to do something stupid in this level and die. I speak from experience. So just don't be too stupid, mostly in this section coming up here. Gonna wait a little bit. Okay, yeah. This is kind of sketchy every time, but if it works, it works. You gotta be quite fast to get under that specific portion I wanted to get under there. And if you miss it at all, you have to wait another cycle pretty much, which is a couple seconds. But anyway, intentional damage here, because you can't really do this part damageless. Try and go fast here. Pretty much in the clear. Oops, tried too hard to minimize the jump now. That was a pretty good 7-2. Alright. So, important thing coming up here. This is our last shopping trip of the run, and we're going to actually buy a bit more this time than just the key. So we need the screen balloon here, also need a banana juice, and we need a key, as we did before. So the key unlocks 7.3 instead of 7.4, which is a 40-second level instead of a minute 30 auto-scroller, so obviously that's nice. The balloon and the banana juice will come into play later. So it doesn't actually matter if you lose Diddy in 7-2, because you get him right back here. Jump over that guy, save a little bit. Faster than having to damage boost through him. Yeah, this is a really short level. It can still kill you in one or two cheeky ways, so just be alert. You can kind of roll onto that hand without having to hover there, but it's difficult. And this part's important. I want to roll onto those hands as soon as I can, because as soon as I do that, that hand bringing the candle along will activate. And that's pretty much it. Really short level. Alright, so after 7.3 comes 7.5, and this is a very important level because we have a green balloon we need to equip here, and we're not going to forget to equip the green balloon. No, we certainly are not. I never forget to equip the green balloon from the inventory like this. Good job, Leah. I need to really be explicit with myself every single time or else I will forget. And I will cry. Anyway, don't worry about the green balloon for now. 7.5 kind of marks the Gauntlet of World 7, or the start of it. Might be wondering what it's telling us to find there. That will come into play in like 30 seconds. But yeah, this is a difficult level, and it is got a lot of global cycles. Well, I say a lot of global cycles, it's actually only got one global cycle, the rest is kind of local. But it is quite an important global cycle we're keeping our eyes on. And by keeping our eyes on, I mean we're not keeping our eyes on it because we can't actually see it until the very end of the level. Anyway, so the green balloon lets us kind of clip out of bounds. It saves us from a fall, but kind of an oversight is that we can kind of go through walls when we're being brought back up. So we can basically clip into this room way earlier than we're supposed to. We're supposed to like pound the center of that wheel and then just wait. a bit to like gain access to that room, but yeah, you can just do that. It's ingenious, and it was discovered by Let's Luigi, who is the best, like one of the best Tropical Freeze runners, if not the best, and also really good at this game. Anyway, just a little bit in this ending section here. Set in motion from the very beginning of the level. It is technically possible to fast cycle it, but it is... Yeah, I mean, you have to be completely aware of how fast you're going at all times. You have to go really fast to get it. And you can't tell if you're fast enough, or say too fast even, until you've already inputted the cannon shot. And of course, if you miss it, if you hit into, you know, if you hit the thing, you die. And that's one of the worst deaths you can have as well if you die there. You lose pretty much like a flat 40 seconds if you die there, and you also lose Diddy. So don't do that. Anyway, 7-6 is a really cool level. This is one of the hardest levels in the game, but it is really, really cool. And the switch room is right over here in this one. No lengthy detour needed. You might be wondering what these switches are for. That basically lets us progress through this world. If we do not get these switches, then we will not be able to finish this world. So we need to get them. So this next section is quite chill. It's mostly the ending section of this level that has all the difficulty in it, which we will come up to shortly. Perfect. Really good. That was an excellent 7-6. That was a gold. Nice. That was really good. Oh, big stretch. Going into 7-7. Last level of the gauntlet, and possibly the most complicated level in the game. You could write, like, an essay about this level. This level deserves a video essay, I think. This level's kind of a mess of cycles. And you really have to know how to manipulate all of them, or how they all work. Right at the beginning here, we gotta wait here. I could have gone a fast cycle, unfortunately I missed that. Oh god, am I fast enough? Oh no! I got kind of screwed there. Ooh. I'm gonna wait. Oh, that's kind of heartbreaking. Okay, we've got to be really careful now. Huh. Oh dear, this is not fun. Okay, I don't know where that cycle's gonna be. Oh dear. Ah, we're falling apart. This is a typical 7-7. I do not believe I have to get that room again, so I'm not going to get it. If I do have to get it, then joke's on me. I don't believe I have to. If I do, I'm gonna look really silly. Almost as silly as I did there. Okay, well that's quite heartbreaking. But anyway. I'm just saying that run had a real shot at world record until that happened. Anyway. Yeah, we didn't have to get it again. Weird thing is you can access the room again if that happens, like if you get it and then you die before you finish level or reach a checkpoint, you can go into the room again, but you don't need to. That situation has not come up in a while for me. Anyway, so our reward for getting all of those switches was unlocking this level. This is a really weird, like, one-off level. Even like a full true 100% speedrun in this game, where you'd play most levels 3 times each, this is the only level you'd play a single time and then never again. It's kind of weird that it's even here. It's pretty much just a 50-second auto-scroller that you never see again. It's kind of cool though. Kind of leads into the boss quite nicely. Aurora Borealis? May I see it? No. Alright, 7B. One of the most infamous levels in this game. I'd say even casually, but especially in speedrunning, this is an infamous level. We will see why. So, right off the bat here, we've kind of got to wait around 30 seconds. He just kind of does nothing for a little while. But I can explain the fight in that time. So we've got this first phase here, we need to hit him 3 times. He will go into a second phase after that. We also need to hit him 3 times in a second phase, but for now, he can jump up to 3 times before he reveals his weak spot. We want him to jump only 1 time, obviously. Each extra jump loses like 5 or 6 seconds. Like that. Oh dear, bad RNG. Yep, that's 3 jumps. So that's already like 12-ish seconds. Now, provided you do this first hit away from the wall, he will always give you the second hit for free, every single time, which is really nice. And now from here, he can decide to immediately give us the 3rd hit, or he can decide to walk around the arena once or twice and do absolutely nothing. Oh, he's giving us the hit. Nice, okay. So it's actually good RNG. We only lost 12 seconds to RNG there. But it's actually a really good pattern overall, you can get way worse than that. Now in this last phase, we're going to try and hit him 3 times at once. We're probably not going to get it, but it would be really cool if we did. Oh my god, let's go. I'm goated. That's a 10-second goal, by the way. I just want to put that out there. That's really good. Wow. Yeah, you do not get that triple hit all the time. And there's actually a risk you die as well going for it. There's a risk you can get pushed, like, kind of clipped out the wall. And if you fail to make it back, you just die and lose like a minute and a half. But yeah, that was fantastic. Oh, it's a shame about 7-7. This could be a really solid world record pace if it weren't for 7-7 happening. I can still try to push for a 1:37 in this run though, which would be a really good time for a marathon. Anyway, 8-1. I've just used my banana juice, you'll immediately see why we need it for this level. Because this level is filled with damage boosts. Like, it is so many things you have to damage boost through here. It's faster to do that than just, like, avoid it the proper way. I generally like to, like, time that thing before that guy gets to me, but I did not get it that time. Provided we're careful, we can make it out of this level in one piece with Diddy with us. That was a bit scuffed, but we're fine. We will be maintaining Diddy, which is nice, because there is no Diddy in the next two levels actually, and then the level after it really benefits from having him. So yeah. And in original mode, you actually get twice as many hits from a banana juice, so oddly that level is easier in original mode. I don't know why they kind of nerfed banana juice in modern mode, but it is what it is. It's what it's. It's what's. So this is considered the hardest rocket auto-scroller in the run. As far as like in the game goes, there is one we didn't play in Walk 4 that could be considered harder, but like this is definitely the hardest one in the run. Reminder that you can't touch anything or you will die, pretty much. This level's extra scary if you're going for all puzzles, which by the way is a really cool category that people should run. But yeah. Kinda scary if you're on a really good pace and you're feeling nervous. But I mean, if I was still on pace, I hadn't died in 7-7, I'd probably be feeling nervous right now, but eh. Thankfully this level's not too long, it's one of the shortest auto-scrollers. Only about a minute and a half. I have a tight squeeze right here, you have to squeeze between that rock at the top and the fire snake. This is a required level, by the way, there are no alternate paths that skip this one. They expected kids to do this. 2D platformer for children. We actually have another auto-scroller right here. This is the last standing minecart level in the game. Actually not in the game, there is a secret standing minecart level, but as far as the run goes, this is the last one. There is a skip you can do here which looks scary, but it's really not that bad. Got a pretty big window to do that. That skip is not possible in the 3DS version, by the way. For some reason you jump lower from the minecarts in 3D. Also don't hit anything because it's a one-hit kill. I'm not sure I even need to say that at this point. Delay like just the tiniest bit there for that fireball to go up and then you're in the clear. You can do a kind of scary looking strat here. Like jumping off that, like pushes you forward the tiniest bit, save maybe like a tenth or two. It looks scary, but trust me, as long as you're holding the grab button, you will never fall into the lava below. You'll be fine. So it is a little bit faster to have Diddy for this level, if you can do that. Alright, I've mentioned the Gauntlet of Ward 5, I've mentioned the Gauntlet of Ward 7. Enter the Gauntlet of Ward 8. And this is the most notorious level of the three. It is very easy to die in this level, especially in the first half. We're gonna try to not do that, best of our ability. Oh dear. That's not an amazing start. Kind of making this up on the spot now. I'm fine, actually. Okay, a bit scuffed. We're fine. This is the hardest section. Yeah, that happens pretty much every time, I'm not surprised. Every time, whenever I need that to go right, it doesn't go right. I'm gonna play this really safe. Yeah, I'm not really got a death wish here, so yeah. Okay, second half is more chill. The ending is still kind of scary though. You also really want to finish this level with Diddy. The next level really benefits from having him at the start. So this level has some global cycles going on, mostly in like the second section of the level. There are some global cycles here. I'm gonna delay just the tiniest bit there, for safety. Wait here. Try and go as fast as we can here. For this next section. These moving platforms are globally cycled. Okay, I'm not surprised I got hit there. You'll get hit there if you're a bit too slow, which we were kind of. However, as long as you have at least 2 hits left on Diddy, you're pretty much fine. So that means we'd kind of be slightly screwed in original mode. I say only slightly because you can do this next thing damageless, but I much prefer the strat where you take damage. It's a lot easier. Anyway, in this last section here, it looks kind of ultra-scrollery, but if you look closely, we are moving to the right. Now, this is a go-to-the-right kind of platformer game. You can kind of figure out what's... You'll probably figure out what's on the right off-screen, so I'm gonna do something cool here. Just like that. You can finish the level about 15 seconds earlier than you're supposed to. And it's really easy to do, actually. There's a very consistent setup for that. As long as you have enough health to do it, like take a hit without losing Diddy, you are pretty much good. Which is really cool. But anyway, the final normal level to run is 8-7. Beginning section can go kind of wrong sometimes. I'm going to try my best here to not do that. You want to land on that platform as soon as possible, kind of go at full speed from there. You can do all of that with solo DK as well. That is kind of scary. But that is a good beginning section, so... From here, this is one of the only vertical levels in the game. Definitely the most vertical level, I'd say. There is no other level where you have to do this much just like vertical platforming shenanigans. Oh god. That's what I mean about platforms kind of lying to you and saying they're tangible when they're not. We're fine. It's only a minor time loss. It's pretty chill from here. That's like the hardest section of it. Is the beginning and also the first part of this vertical section. That bit's kind of scary if you miss one of those bounces. then you kind of have to do a long backup. If you miss both of those bounces, like if you kill both of those tikis without getting up there, or you fall back down, you are losing a lot of time because you have to pretty much wait for the lava to catch up to you, and then it will spawn some platforms in for you. But alright, going to the final boss now. I must say, despite 2 deaths in 7-7, losing 40 plus seconds, if not 50, yeah, by like 45-ish seconds in 7-7, and despite the beginning of the run kind of sucking, this is a really good run, honestly, for a marathon. I usually want to get sub 140 in marathons. I had a 138 for Trans Day of Remembrance Special a couple days ago. This is on pretty much guaranteed 137 pace, which is really cool. Like, unless I somehow die or I get the worst RNG known to man, I'm pretty much guaranteed a 137 here, which is really cool. The most viewed video on my YouTube channel is a 138.09 world record from around when the game released. So yeah, this is on pace to beat that, even though we've had some turmoil in this run. Now I should explain this boss quickly. Unfortunately, the final boss has the worst RNG in the run. He's split into 2 phases. He's kind of like Andros, kind of, you know, head and hands boss. First up is the hands. You have to hit each hand twice, and then you have to hit the head 3 times. The head is where the worst of the RNG comes in, but the hands also have pretty important RNG, which is getting the palm facing down so you can actually hit the button on the back of it. So we'll get to that. But anyway. So first it's always given to you for free. It does not matter which hand he attacks you with here. In this case we've got both hands on 1 hit rather than 1 hand destroyed. So you could do his palms up here, which we really don't want. Nice. Okay, we got lucky. If he does palm up, he can do it up to 2 more times. Each one loses like 4 or 5 seconds, so it's quite bad. But thankfully, we got palm down 1 time, we're good. It's gonna let us destroy his hand here. And now the second phase. I'm gonna explain this really quickly. He'll give us the first hit for free. He can give us 2 hits in a row. He can also do pretty much any number of attacks in between. We need to do 3 hits and time will end on the final hit. So that's 1. Oh dude, no, sure. Okay, we just need to get 1 more hit. This could be world record if I get really lucky. Okay. Yeah, he can kind of stall as long as he wants here. Or if he hits right now, I could get world record. Get ready on time. And that is world record, by the way. 137.13.
Well, I believe that deserves a
World record by 2 seconds. Nice.
Congratulations, if nothing else.
I am rusty as hell. I don't know how I did that. I'm gonna be honest.
What a way to kick off the event.
Nice. I can't believe I brought that back. I got really good RNG in that run. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, that was carried by RNG. I don't really care. I mean, I can save like over a minute in terms of gameplay. I'm going to improve that anyway.
Fantastic stuff. Well,
So,
people.
Yay. Like, I already intended I like already intended to grind for like a low 136 at some point. This just kind of
if people
gives me more motivation to do that.
Then where can they go?
Yay.
If people want to see you doing that, then where can they go?
You can go to twitch.tv/Leahkazuno, where I stream once in a blue moon. I'd hope for it to be a couple more times in a blue moon, eventually. But yeah, every so often I stream. And I usually stream this category. I'm kind of trying to push for a really good time in every category in this game. And this is the first one, pretty much. I kind of want to do all that on Switch 1, kind of kill all of the Switch 1 categories, and then get myself a Switch 2 and start going crazy there. Because we do split the leaderboards for Switch 1 and 2, because they're not really comparable. But yeah. I play a bunch of other games. I play Diddy Kong Racing a lot. That's probably my other main speed game, and I'm actually going to be speedrunning that on Sunday in this marathon. You can also find me again tomorrow night, about like 7 hours from now, but tomorrow I will be back on this marathon with Yohane Blazing Deep Blue, which is a Metroidvania, if you're into that. I'm not going to say too much more because I'm already going to be on this marathon 2 more times, and I don't want to cause any more delays after I delayed the start of the marathon by like 10 minutes, but yeah, that was fun.
I guess a world record is one good way to make it up.
Yeah, 5 minutes underestimate's pretty good, not going to lie.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Best of luck with the rest of the marathon.
Want to get for that one? Get your GGs in chat.
Paige will
We
be
will be back
bringing
here in
us
just a
LA
few
Noir. Look forward to that and don't go anywhere.